What's going on, sports fans? Once again, it's K-Student GOAT, Vernon Speaks Sports. We're mostly talking about Auburn football and the rest of the SEC. We are counting down to signing day. We got some guys who have already signed, and one position that Auburn doesn't talk about is not like the most glorified position on the team, but is vitally important, and that is the HBack position. As it turns out, Chandler Cox, who has been very serviceable at the HBack position and has made some very big plays over the course of his career. One play that comes to mind is the huge play that he made in the Georgia game on the wheel route. No one expected him to do that particular play, and he made a name for himself with that wheel route. But where Chandler Cox mostly made a name for himself was his ability to block in the interior line. As a matter of fact, he played an integral part in the 2017 SEC championship game run, where Auburn had the opportunity to beat Alabama, who was number one at the time, and Georgia in that same season. Chandler Cox played a huge role in opening up some of those holes for Kerryon Johnson and just really being a good utility back for Auburn University. So here we are in 2019 looking for a viable replacement for Chandler Cox. Okay, so some names come to mind. We just got from Arizona State J.J. Wilson. J.J. Wilson has a very unique story because he was recruited. He was a four-star recruit out of high school, out in California. But when he got to Arizona, he played many positions, which I think will add to the value of his versatility and his ability to play H-back for Auburn. Now, one of the things that really didn't show up on film when he did have the opportunity to play tight end. See, they had him on offense. They had him in a couple of positions. When you look at it on film, they had him at slot receiver, which I think was he was just out of position. He was too big. Really wasn't all that fast. Just a waste of position to me. But where he seemed to be the most effective was when they lined him up at tight end, and then occasionally they would line him up at what is very similar to Auburn's H-back position. You can tell and this film was back in 2017. You can tell he was very inexperienced and very uncomfortable at the position. But when you look at how he played linebacker and defensive end, you can see his ability to have that physicality that an H-back at Auburn would need. And he did show somewhat of a unique ability to catch the ball, which is very important. Now, I think when you talk about skill set and talent, he and Chandler Cox are very, very similar skill set wise. They really don't have a lot of, they're not amazingly agile as far as hip movement, as far as quickness. It kind of is what it is. He's going to catch the ball, and as soon as the defender approaches, he's going to cover the ball up to make sure he doesn't fumble the ball, and then he's going to go down. Now, what I really like is the potential of he and Harold Joyner. A lot of people are probably thinking, like, what is Auburn going to do with Harold Joyner? Because you got Sean Shivers, you have Boobie Whitlow, you have Cam Martin, you have DJ Hall, who is also a outstanding running back in the recruiting process. Actually, he's already enrolled at Auburn. So what is Harold Joyner going to do? Well, looking at Harold Joyner on film, I think Harold Joyner, let's just say if he did play H-back. One thing I like about the prospect of Harold Joyner playing H-back is that he would add not only the physicality of the position, but he will also be a little bit more agile, in my opinion, than Chandler Cox and J.J. Wilson would be. Now, what I'm looking at, say for a guy like Harold Joyner, if he was to play H-back, he would be a much bigger threat to create some really, really huge mismatches for Gus Malzahn and be like a very, very huge weapon. The The only drawback is I'm really iffy on Harold Joyner's blocking. You know what I'm saying? Because Harold Joyner had been, conditioned to be a running back. And when I look at him on film from high school, it didn't appear that he had to do a lot of pass blocking and a lot of run blocking because he was the one running the football. So that's something that in order for him to really compete for this H-back position, I think he needs to really, really work on his blocking skills. And that's even assuming because he came out of high school as a highly talented running back. I mean, does he even really want to play H-back? That's the thing, a matter of desire. Does he really want to play H-back? Now, I think J.J. Wilson is going to come in, and he's going to come in with that desire because he wants to play. This is his last year, and this is his last chance to really make a showing before he's, possibly going to the NFL obviously, I think his best bet in the NFL is as a fullback. So it's really going to be an interesting spring for Auburn as they attempt to fill this H-back position, because Harold Joyner and if you could put the two guys together, you have the ultimate beast at H-back for Auburn. The only thing that's in question right now is whether Harold Joyner, let's assuming that he does take the position, is his blocking ability. How well will he be able to hone his skills as a blocker? And considering that he's mostly a running back, like a tailback, is he going to even have the desire to want to compete for the H-back position? Is that what he came to Auburn to do? Is to fill that H-back position? J.J. Wilson actually is coming to Auburn to play that position because he played it in somewhat, I wouldn't say on a high level at Arizona State, but he does have some experience at the tight end / H-back position, and he's shown that he can have some physicality if it can translate over to the offensive side of the ball, because he played defensive end and he played linebacker while at Arizona State. So we'll look to see what happens. I think if anything else, let's say J.J. Wilson does take on the H-back position. What it does do for Auburn is it gives Gus Malzahn even more depth as well in the run game. Because let's just say Boobie Whitlow gets hurt. You still have a physical guy like Harold Joyner who has pretty good speed at the point of attack who can, help to fill some voids there. So either way, it's a win-win situation. I'm really thinking that J.J. Wilson will take the role as the H-back because he has the most experience. He has shown the ability to block at that point of attack, with the running game. So we'll just have to wait and see. But once again, it's K-Stu to go for Burner Speak Sports, mostly talking about Auburn football and the rest of the SEC. Countdown to signing day. We still want George Pickens, baby. War Eagle, like, comment, and subscribe. You all take care.